Hello, and have we got a dose of crypto news for you? There's going to be a new exchange, and Shark Tank investor Kevin O'Leary, friend of SBF, that said he would still hire him to trade even though he lost $8 billion in trading. Don't really know what's up with that. Says there's going to be a new exchange that is going to beat down on Binance and become the biggest but regulated exchange in the world. However, Americans are once again going to be screwed. Oh, yes, we Americans, we love to be screwed by the crypto market, especially the US regulations, because if we are in the US, we will not be able to register for this exchange. Thank you very much, Gary Gensler and Elizabeth Warren and Brad Sherman. It's their fault because of their anti-crypto stance. What is this exchange going to be called? It's going to be called M2, and it's going to be based in Abu Dhabi. Now, the UAE is one of the most liberal places for cryptos, so obviously their regulations are not going to be in line with US regulations. It's going to be backed by billions, not millions, but billions in capital with connections to the largest institutional buyers. So a lot of this will be institutional, but people that are not in the US will be able to take advantage of this exchange and buy coins as well. Now, it probably won't be as liberal as Binance, may not have all the leveraged trading options, may not have all the coins, but there'll be a lot of liquidity flowing through this. And hopefully this gets more people interested in crypto. Even though us as US investors cannot get in on this new crypto exchange, it might help lift the entire crypto market by being a giant regulated exchange that can get institutional and large scale investors in. But unfortunately, this quote, so unfortunately, no American can register there. But really what they are going after is Binance, which you can't use either as an American. So Americans will continue to be screwed. Well, Binance will probably lose half its accounts to the new M2 because now you can get off something that the SEC is suing and go on a compliant exchange that's backed by billions of dollars in huge financial institutions. But since Americans can't actually register on this exchange, I don't really think the SEC has any real interest in suing it because it's beyond their jurisdiction. So this guy, Kevin O'Leary, he really wants to be an early investor on this new crypto project. So obviously it's something he's supporting. But remember, this guy supported FTX as well, so it may not be the best thing to buy into. However, another huge exchange that provides crypto to millions upon millions of people is always good for our industry as a whole, in my opinion. It's just that it sucks that we as Americans can't get in on this because of our regulations. And it has not been announced yet, but I guess Kevin O'Leary has done them the favor of actually announcing it. This hasn't been announced but in Abu Dhabi, they're planning to launch a new exchange to replace both FTX and Binance, and they're going to get billions of dollars on it called M2. It's going to be the new standard in exchanges because you can't hold Bitcoin without an exchange for liquidity. So obviously, good for everyone, not as good for Americans, but still good for Americans, in my opinion, maybe because it will actually get more and more people into crypto. And if you get more and more people into crypto, the interest is going to rise up in the crypto world. And of course, that's going to mean more money flows in. So very exciting news from the lands of the UAE and Abu Dhabi. The CPI was actually good today, but Bitcoin fell. Why? Well, it's going back up again a little bit right now. It might be because of the pending government shutdown, but it's most likely because people wanted to take some profits. There is very little liquidity right now because the volume is still fairly low, so any amount of whales taking profit will drop the price down. We almost broke below 35,000, but that the support seems to have held, and now we're back at 35,400. I'm not really sure how long the sell-off is going to go on, but my guess is like 35,000, and at most 33K will be a bottom because the inflation numbers and the CPI were very, very good this month, and they fell below expectations. Of course, the stock market is up because of it. Also, if you're afraid of the shutdown, the House has actually passed a bill, a very confusing bill at that. People are like, huh, what is this bill? Rather than, oh yeah, we're all for it. It angered some components of the hard right, but it's kind of like a tiered system. But so it looks like the government is not actually going to shut down unless the Senate rejects it. Of course, the Senate will have to make amendments and have to talk back and forth. But the deadline is this Friday, so they don't have all that much time to actually talk back and forth. But either way, I think the both the core CPI and the overall CPI actually did go down this month. So the Fed might be holding back on any rate hikes. That does not mean they're not going to do any future rate hikes. Definitely does not mean we're going to not have any future rate hikes. It just means they might pause for a while because the numbers look good for right now. But, people are always thinking of ways why the crypto world might go down, and they're getting very, very creative, including the Iceland volcano that could erupt, and people are claiming that it could just take away spring and summer in 2024. That volcano did actually erupt before, in 2010, so it's well within living memory. I was alive in 2010, in my 20s, by the ways, and I remember 2010. We had a fabulous spring and summer, so any hopes of the Icelandic volcano basically shutting off seasons is not going to really apply. It's probably mostly going to affect Ireland and maybe Northern Europe. It's not like Yellowstone, which would devastate the entire world. It's nowhere near that big. It's not one of those volcanoes that erupts once every 500,000 years. It erupted. It literally just erupted 16 years ago, or when was 14 years ago. And I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. The other factor is very real, and it involves the Fed as well. The Fed is very much afraid of people getting used to the higher inflation rate and expecting a higher inflation rate. And they want to kill that. And there are numbers and statistics that show that people, everyday common people, are expecting a new higher inflation rate that's normal, and the Fed wants to do anything to stop that expectation. So Jerome Powell is really looking at that at this point. And if he sees people's expectations go north, then he's going to raise interest rates, which would devastate all markets. I think we're on that brink where the interest rates really can't get any higher for some of the banks to function. And if they continue to get higher, then we're going to have problems. And that is one thing that I'm looking out for, that I'm actually sort of afraid of. Because, if that's true, then I might want to shrink back my investments. But overall right now, I think with the CPI coming out as it is, basically the treasury yields are coming down. It actually tumbled the point below 4.5 today. And the mortgage rates and the interest rates coming down. I do think we're headed towards a much better economic situation. Now, it'll be a while before some of the costs fall in line. But overall, I definitely think that we're on the right track. Now, the other thing is Vitalik has actually announced a crypto breakthrough. Now, this is something that they abandoned a long time ago, and they've actually now brought back, and it's called Plasma. We haven't talked about Plasma in quite a long time because Ethereum kind of abandoned it a while ago. But it looks like Vitalik's like, all these other blockchains, they're scaling better than us, and we need something to keep our Ethereum investors excited. So they actually brought up Plasma again. This was originally conceived in 2017, but it never went anywhere because a lot of upgrades for Ethereum never end up going anywhere because Ethereum is old and it's cumbersome. So Plasma has actually re-emerged, addressing a fundamental challenge of scalability. Now, if Ethereum can solve its scalability problem, it would actually be the chain of choice for many things. But if they're going to implement Plasma, this is going to take several years, and I'm not really sure how long people are willing to wait. And Plasma is a framework of blockchain scaling, enabling the majority of data and computations to be conducted off-chain, thereby opening pathways for substantial sustainability. Of course, there's been many iterations of Plasma, including minimal viable Plasma, Plasma Cash, and Plasma Prime. However, the journey of Plasma was not without its challenges. The initial versions grappled with complexities such as client-side data storage costs and limited accessibility. The breakthrough came with the advent of validity proofs, especially zero-knowledge proofs, or ZK snarks. So they're going to try to revolutionize applications with Plasma, and they're going to try to integrate Plasma with EVM. The thing is, I'll believe it when I see it. Because I haven't really seen any kind of real scaling solution for Ethereum for a very, very long time. One could say really in forever. We're going to have to see the capabilities of this and see if this is real or just some more bluff by Ethereum to hold off the inevitable that people are going to need to move to other blockchains. So I'm really not sure what's going to happen with this. Ethereum had better hope that this is going to work, because if this doesn't work, they are going to be in trouble. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.